Hey guys, welcome back to Sleep Drift Tales. This time, the setting is far above Earth, inside a quiet space station, where every sound, every light, and every routine repeats day after day. If you'd like, you can subscribe before we begin, and let me know in the comments, where in the world are you watching from, and what time is it for you right now? It's always calming to see this little community connecting across so many different places. So settle in, let the rain, brown noise, and fire sounds surround you. And allow yourself to drift off quickly with this relaxing story from the past, told from orbit. The spacecraft drifts through space, silent, steady. The astronaut opens her eyes slowly, very slowly. The cabin is dim with artificial dawn light. She floats gently near her sleeping bag. Her body moves like water, like slow water in zero gravity. The sleeping bag drifts beside her. Her breathing is calm, regular. Each breath moves through the recycled air. The air tastes metallic, clean, processed through many filters. The ventilation hums softly, always humming. The sound never changes, never stops. It creates a steady rhythm, a boring rhythm. She reaches for the water dispenser. Her hand moves slowly through the air. Everything moves slowly in space. The water forms perfect spheres, round droplets that float. She catches a water droplet with her mouth, then another. The water is lukewarm, recycled many times. It tastes of nothing, of processed nothing. The morning routine begins the same way. Every day, the same slow motions, the same floating movements. This is the boring history of space. Her eyes adjust to the cabin light. The walls are covered with instruments, small screens, blinking lights. Everything is the same as yesterday and the day before. She stretches her arms above her head. The motion is graceful, weightless. Her fingers touch the ceiling panel. The panel is cool metal, always cool. The cabin temperature is regulated, always the same. The climate control hums quietly, part of the background noise, the endless background noise. She looks through the small porthole window. Earth spins below. Clouds swirl over blue oceans. The same view she sees every day, every boring day in orbit. The sunrise happens every 90 minutes. 16 sunrises each day. The light changes from black to orange, from orange to bright white, then back to black. This cycle repeats, always repeats. The spacecraft follows its path, the same orbital path, around and around the blue planet. She unzips her sleeping bag completely. The bag floats away slowly, drifting toward the far wall. She will retrieve it later, much later. Her hair floats around her face, weightless hair that moves like seaweed. like underwater seaweed. She pushes it back with both hands. The motion is slow, deliberate. The daily routine continues. The same sequence every morning. Wake, stretch, drink water, look at Earth. This is how astronauts begin each day. She checks the digital clock on the wall panel. The numbers glow green. 6 hours and 12 minutes into the sleep cycle. Time to begin the morning routine. The spacecraft maintains its orbit, 300 miles above Earth, moving at 17,000 miles per hour. But inside the cabin, everything feels still, perfectly still. She floats to the communication panel, presses a single button. The button clicks softly. Good morning, Mission Control. Her voice is calm, professional. Static crackles through the speaker. Then a voice responds. Good morning, up there. How did you sleep? The conversation is routine. The same questions every day. Sleep was good. Beginning morning routine now. She releases the button. The conversation ends. These calls happen twice each day. Morning and evening calls. The boring routine of space continues. Each action measured, planned, recorded in mission logs. Everything documented for the boring history of space exploration. She opens the first supply cabinet. Inside are personal items. A comb, toothbrush, small mirror. Everything secured with Velcro strips. Nothing can float away. The cabin light grows brighter, simulating sunrise. The light cycle helps maintain normal sleep patterns. Human bodies need routine, even in space. She begins to move toward the hygiene station, floating slowly across the cabin. Each movement requires planning. Push off gently, drift, reach for handholds. Time passes slowly in orbit. Each task takes longer without gravity. Simple actions become complex. Opening packets, catching floating objects, moving from place to place. The ventilation system cycles on. Fresh air circulates through the cabin. The same air breathed and recycled many times, cleaned by sophisticated filters. She reaches the hygiene station, a small area with water outlets, waste disposal systems, everything designed for zero gravity, for the boring necessities of daily life. This is how mornings begin in space. Slow movements, floating water droplets, the endless hum of life support systems. The routine never changes. The spacecraft continues its orbit, silent through the vacuum of space. Inside the cabin, the astronaut begins her day, the same way she began. Yesterday, the same boring routine. Let the story continue. Time passes slowly. The cabin grows quiet except for mechanical sounds. The endless mechanical sounds of life in space. The morning routine proceeds with careful precision. Each action planned. Nothing rushed, everything documented in the boring history of human spaceflight. The cabin drifts in silence, and the orbital day begins. The hygiene station waits in the corner of the cabin. Small, efficient, designed for zero-gravity use. The astronaut floats toward it slowly. She opens the water valve carefully. Water emerges in small spheres, perfect round droplets. She catches them with a damp cloth. The cloth absorbs each droplet. The toothbrush floats in its holder, secured with Velcro. She removes it, slowly squeezes a small amount of toothpaste, edible toothpaste that can be swallowed. Brushing teeth in space requires patience. The foam must be contained, cannot float away, cannot contaminate instruments. Everything must be controlled. She brushes slowly, methodically, upper teeth, lower teeth. The motion is the same as on Earth, but slower, more careful. The foam stays on the brush. When finished, she swallows the foam, then wipes her mouth with the damp cloth. The cloth goes into the waste disposal system. Everything has a specific place. The mirror shows her reflection, hair floating wildly, eyes still adjusting to wakefulness. The same reflection every morning, the same boring routine. She opens the personal care kit. Inside is a small comb, plastic bristles, a handle designed for easy gripping. Everything in space must be designed specially. Combing hair in zero gravity presents challenges. Hair floats in all directions. The comb moves through it slowly, gathering the strands, smoothing them down. Each stroke of the comb is deliberate. Patient hair that would normally fall now floats freely, like seaweed in water. Constant motion. She ties her hair back with an elastic band. The band is specially designed, will not break under stress, will not float away if dropped. The morning grooming continues, washing face with wet wipes, cleaning hands. Each action takes longer than on Earth, but the routine is calming, meditative. The wet wipes are specially formulated, safe for recycled air systems, will not contaminate the atmosphere. Everything must be considered in space. She disposes of used wipes properly into the waste management system. The system processes all organic waste, recycles what can be recycled, stores the rest. Next comes the daily uniform, flight suit, specially designed for comfort in zero gravity. Multiple pockets for tools and equipment. Everything has its place. The uniform floats in the clothing locker, secured with clips. She removes it carefully, unfolds each section, prepares to put it on. Dressing in zero gravity requires technique. She slips her arms through first, then pulls the suit over her shoulders. The fabric floats around her body. Each zipper must be secured, each pocket checked. The uniform has communication devices, monitoring equipment, tools for daily tasks, everything needed for work. The boring routine of preparation continues. The same actions every day. Put on uniform, check pockets, secure all fastenings. Routine never changes. She opens her personal notebook, bound with wire spiral. Pages will not float away. The pen is specially designed, will write in zero gravity. Morning notes begin the same way. Date, time, mission, day number, sleep quality, dreams, if any, all recorded in the boring history of space. Her handwriting flows across the page, documenting the routine, temperature readings, system status, personal observations. Everything must be recorded. The notebook contains weeks of entries, each day similar to the last. Same routine, same observations, same boring documentation of life in space. She writes about the sunrise seen through the porthole, the clouds over Africa, the lightning in storm systems. Beautiful but routine observations. Each mission day brings similar sights: Earth turning below, weather patterns, city lights, ocean currents. The same planet every day. The writing helps maintain connection to Earth, to normal human activities, to the boring routine of keeping records, of documenting experience. She closes the notebook, returns it to its secured location. The pen goes back in its holder. Everything must be properly stored. Nothing can float freely. The morning preparation nears completion. Groomed, dressed, notes written, the same sequence followed every day. The boring predictability of space routine. She checks the mission schedule on the wall display. Today's tasks are listed: experiments, maintenance, communication windows, all planned in advance. The schedule never changes suddenly. Each activity planned months in advance. Time allocated precisely. The boring efficiency of space operations. She reviews each task, mentally prepares for the day ahead. The same type of preparation every morning, part of the endless routine. Time passes slowly in the cabin. Morning preparation takes longer than on Earth, but provides comfort, familiarity, connection to normal human experience. The cabin systems hum quietly. Air circulation, temperature control, water recycling. The mechanical sounds of life support, always present, always the same. Let the story continue. The routine proceeds without variation. Each morning identical to the last. The boring history of space exploration continues. Morning preparation concludes with a final systems check. everything functioning normally. Another day begins in orbit. The same orbital routine, and the spacecraft drifts toward working hours. The workstation occupies the center of the cabin. Multiple screens, control panels, instrument displays, everything arranged for easy access in zero gravity. The astronaut floats to her position, grasps the handholds, positions herself in front of the main console. The same position every working day. She activates the primary displays. Screens flicker to life. Data streams across multiple monitors, temperature readings, pressure levels, system status indicators. Each reading is normal, the same ranges as yesterday and the day before. The boring consistency of well-maintained systems. The first task involves checking life support systems, oxygen generation, carbon dioxide scrubbing, water recycling efficiency, all functioning within parameters. She records each reading in the digital log, numbers that change slightly each day, but remain within safe ranges. The routine documentation continues. Next comes the scientific instruments, cameras pointed at Earth, spectrometers analyzing atmosphere, radio telescopes listening to space, all operating automatically. She reviews overnight data collection, images of weather pattern, atmospheric readings, solar radiation measurements, the same type of data every day. Each measurement is catalogued, stored for transmission to Earth, added to the growing database. The boring accumulation of scientific knowledge. The instruments work continuously, never resting, always measuring, recording, analyzing, creating the detailed history of Earth observation from space. She adjusts camera angles, focuses on specific regions. Today, the target is agricultural areas, monitoring crop development, growth patterns, harvest timing. The images appear on her screen, fields of green and brown, rivers cutting through farmland, cities scattered across the landscape, the same view magnified. Each photograph will be analyzed by scientists on Earth, added to databases, compared with previous images. The slow process of understanding change. She operates the spectrometer controls, aims the instrument at atmospheric formations, measures chemical composition, gas concentrations, pollution levels. Data flows across the screen. Chemical signatures, molecular analysis, information that will help understand Earth's changing atmosphere. The boring but vital work. The routine of observation continues. Point instrument, take measurement, record data, store information, prepare for transmission to Earth. Communication with mission control happens every few hours. Status, purport, data transmission. problem solving when needed, mostly routine conversations. She presses the communication button. Static crackles briefly. Then a clear voice responds. How are the readings today? The same question asked daily. All systems normal. Data collection proceeding on schedule. Her response is equally routine, professional, measured, the boring conversation of space work. She transmits the morning's data. Digital files flow through space, across hundreds of miles, to receiving stations on Earth, the invisible transfer of information. The transmission takes several minutes. During this time, she monitors other systems, checks backup instruments, reviews upcoming procedures, multitasking in space. When transmission completes, she continues with observations. The next target is ocean temperature, measuring thermal variations, current movements, climate patterns. The ocean appears blue-green on her screen. Swirling currents visible from space. Temperature differences shown in false color. Beautiful but routine scientific imagery. She records coordinates for each measurement, geographic position, timestamp, instrument settings, all documented for future reference. The meticulous work of science. Hours pass slowly during work periods. Each task completed, methodically, no rushing, no urgency, just the steady pace of orbital research. The cabin remains quiet except for equipment sounds, cooling fans, hard drives spinning, radio static. The constant mechanical noise of technology. She stretches occasionally, flexes fingers, rotates shoulders, preventing stiffness from floating in one position, maintaining physical comfort during work. The routine of space work requires patience, attention to detail, careful documentation. The same qualities needed for any boring but important job. She checks the mission timeline, half the work period completed, several more hours of observations ahead. The same steady pace will continue. Each measurement adds to humanity's understanding. Small contributions to larger knowledge. The boring but essential work of scientific progress. The instruments continue their automatic functions. Cameras click, sensors measure, computers process. The tireless work of technology in service of knowledge. She reviews previous days' data, compares with current readings, looks for patterns, changes, anomalies. Most days show little variation, boring consistency. This consistency is valuable, proves system reliability, confirms measurement accuracy, validates the scientific method. The importance of boring, routine work. Let the story continue. Work proceeds at its measured pace, each task completed thoroughly. The boring history of space science continues to unfold. The work period progresses without incident. Measurements taken, data recorded, information transmitted. Another routine day of orbital research, and the spacecraft continues its endless scientific mission. The food storage area occupies a corner of the cabin. Shelves lined with packets, containers, pouches of various sizes, everything labeled and organized. The astronaut floats to the food preparation station, a small area with heating elements, water dispensers, utensil storage, designed for zero-gravity cooking. She selects today's lunch from the storage rack: thermostabilized beef stew, rehydratable green beans, dried fruit cocktail. The same type of meal eaten daily. Each food packet is specially processed, preserved for long storage, nutritionally balanced, designed to be prepared in zero-gravity conditions. The beef stew requires heating. She places the packet in the food warmer, sets the temperature control, the same settings used every day, standard procedure. While the stew heats, she prepares the green beans, adds measured water to the packet, kneads the mixture gently, allows the vegetables to rehydrate slowly. The process takes several minutes, time enough to review afternoon schedules, check system status, prepare for post-meal activities, multitasking during meal preparation. The food warmer beeps softly. Heating cycle complete. She removes the beef stew packet, cuts it open carefully. Steam escapes in small puffs. The stew smells familiar, like earth food, but texture is different, processed for space consumption, slightly thicker, more concentrated flavor. She attaches the packet to a meal tray, specially designed with clips and holders, prevents food from floating away, makes eating possible in zero gravity. The green beans are ready, properly rehydrated. She opens that packet, adds it to the meal tray. The dried fruit will be eaten separately. Eating in space requires technique, small bites, careful chewing. No crumbs can float away. Everything must be contained, controlled, managed. She takes the first bite of beef stew, chews slowly, swallows carefully. The taste is acceptable, nutritious, but lacks the variety of Earth meals. Each bite is deliberate, measured. Food cannot be wasted in space. Every calorie planned, every nutrient calculated. The boring efficiency of space nutrition. The green beans have a soft texture, slightly mushy from rehydration, but the flavor is recognizable, familiar, a small connection to Earth meals. She drinks water from a pouch, squeezes the liquid into her mouth, swallows without spilling. The water helps wash down the processed food. Meals in space are functional, provide necessary nutrition, maintain health, but lack the pleasure of Earth dining, the social aspects, the variety. She eats methodically, focuses on consuming adequate calories, protein, vitamins, all calculated by nutritionists on Earth. The science of space diet. The dried fruit provides sweetness, natural sugars, a welcome change from processed main courses. She eats each piece slowly, savoring the flavor. 20 minutes to complete the meal, longer than Earth eating, but necessary in zero gravity. Every action requires more time, more attention. She cleans up carefully, disposes of empty packets, wipes the meal tray, stores reusable items. Everything must be clean, secure, ready for next use. The cleanup process is routine. The same steps every meal. Wash, rinse, dry, store. The boring but necessary maintenance of eating in space. After meals comes rest period. Time to float quietly. Look out the porthole. Watch Earth pass below. The same relaxing activity every day. She positions herself near the window, grasps a handhold, looks down at the planet. Clouds swirl over blue oceans. Continents slide past slowly. The view changes constantly, but predictably. The same orbital path every 90 minutes. The same sequence of landscapes, oceans, weather patterns. She watches storm systems over the Pacific. Lightning flickers in cloud formations. Rain falls on ocean surfaces. Weather continues its eternal patterns. The rest period allows mental relaxation, brief escape from work routines, time to simply observe, think, reflect on the experience of space. The cabin remains quiet during rest. Only mechanical sounds continue. Ventilation, computers, life support systems, the constant background of technology. She thinks about home, family, friends on Earth, people living normal lives, eating normal food, sleeping in beds. The contrast with space life. But this life has its own routine, its own comfort, predictable, measured, safe within the protective cabin. The boring security of space routine. Time passes slowly during rest periods. No urgent tasks, no measurements to take, just quiet observation, mental processing, the luxury of boredom. The Earth continues to turn below. Day transitions to night. City lights begin to appear. The same transition seen 16 times daily. Rest period concludes gradually. No alarms, no announcements, just the natural end of quiet time. Preparation for afternoon activities begins. She moves away from the window, floats toward the workstation, ready to resume daily tasks. The same transition every day. Rest to work. Let the story continue. The routine provides comfort, predictability, structure in the vast emptiness of space, the boring rhythm of orbital life. Meals and rest conclude peacefully. Nutrition provided, energy restored, mind relaxed. Another cycle in the endless routine, and the spacecraft drifts toward evening activities. Evening arrives according to mission schedule, not by sunset. The spacecraft sees 16 sunsets daily. Evening comes by clock time, by routine. The astronaut begins shutdown procedures. Non-essential instruments powered down, screens dim. Only critical systems remain active. The transition to night mode. She completes final data transmissions, sends daily reports to mission control, status updates, problem reports, if any, usually routine messages. The communication ends with standard phrases. Good night from orbit. See you tomorrow. All systems normal. The boring ritual of space sign-off. She dims the cabin lighting gradually, simulates Earth's sunset, helps maintain normal sleep cycles. Human biology needs predictable light patterns, even in space. The porthole shows actual sunset over Africa. Orange light fades to black. Stars appear in the vacuum of space. Beautiful but routine transition. Final equipment checks begin. Life support systems, emergency procedures, backup power. Everything must function properly through the night. Safety protocols. She records final notes in her logbook. Daily summary, system performance, personal observations. The same format every evening. Routine documentation. The cabin grows quieter as systems power down. Fewer cooling fans, less computer noise, only essential sounds remain. The peaceful transition to sleep. She opens the clothing locker, retrieves sleeping garments. Soft fabric, designed for comfort in zero gravity. Easy to put on, easy to remove. Changing clothes in space requires patience, careful movements. Nothing can float away. Every action must be controlled, managed, secured. The day uniform is folded carefully, stored in the proper location. Tomorrow it will be worn again. The same routine, the same professional appearance. Sleeping clothes feel comfortable, soft against skin, loose-fitting, designed for the unique requirements of sleeping in zero-gravity conditions. She retrieves her sleeping bag from storage, specially designed for space use. Attached to the cabin wall, prevents floating during sleep, provides security. The sleeping bag is familiar, used every night for months, softened by use, shaped to her body, the closest thing to a bed in space. She slides into the sleeping bag slowly, zips it partially closed, leaves arms free for movement, for reaching emergency controls if needed. The sleeping position feels natural now, after months of practice, initially awkward, now comfortable. The body adapts to space, conditions to zero-gravity rest. She performs final systems checks. emergency communications, life support alarms, fire suppression, all systems ready for autonomous night operation. The spacecraft operates mostly automatically during sleep periods. Computers monitor everything. Alert systems stand ready. Human supervision minimal but present. She dims the cabin lights to minimum levels, just enough to see emergency controls, to navigate if needed, but dark enough for sleep, for rest. The final routine begins. Deep breathing, mental relaxation. The same process every night. Preparation for sleep in the unique environment of space. She listens to the mechanical sounds, ventilation, cycling, computer fans, water pumps, the constant mechanical lullaby of life support systems. These sounds have become comforting, familiar, proof that systems function properly, that life continues safely in the void of space. Her breathing slows, heart rate decreases, body temperature drops slightly, the natural progression toward sleep. The same biological process everywhere. Outside, the porthole space is completely black. Stars shine without atmospheric interference. Crystal clear, beautiful, the eternal night of vacuum. But inside, the cabinole is safe, warm, protected from the hostile environment. The small bubble of human life crossing the cosmos, routine and secure. She closes her eyes, begins the transition to sleep. Dreams may come, often about Earth, about gravity, about normal human experiences. The mind's refuge. The spacecraft continues its orbit. Automatic, predictable, following the same path around Earth, while humans sleep, while life continues inside. Time passes differently during sleep periods. No conscious measurement, no awareness of orbital motion, just the peaceful unconsciousness of rest. Mission control monitors through the night. Ground teams watch over. Sleep-in astronauts, ready to wake them if needed. Usually unnecessary, boring routine. The cabin settles into night rhythm. Quieter, darker, cooler, optimized for human sleep. For the restoration of body and mind, the essential rest. Sleep comes gradually, natural, despite the unique environment, despite floating in space. The human body adapts, finds rest, finds peace, finds dreams. Let the story continue into sleep. Into the quiet hours, into the boring routine of orbital rest. The spacecraft maintains its vigil while humans dreams. The night cycle begins its peaceful hours. Systems monitor quietly. The astronaut sleeps securely. Another day in orbit concludes. The cabin grows silent, and the spacecraft drifts into sleep. End of story. Sleep well, rest deeply. Let the gentle rhythm of space carry you into peaceful dreams. The orbit continues. The routine endures. All is well in the quiet cosmos.